So I watched the VR showcase, and I had some thoughts, and I want to rant, I want to complain, I want to cuss a little bit. If you know me, then you probably already know I'm about to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. So the showcase opens with Forefront, new game by Triangle Factory, the guys who brought us Breachers, the game I love to hate. They're making a new multiplayer shooter. They've been kind of teasing it on Twitter for the last few days. And I hate to use this term. I really do. If you know me, I know I hate to say this, but it's basically Battlefield in VR, like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 in VR. That's basically what it is. Large scale. I'm not going to tell you. If you know, you know. It's large scale. It's Battlefield in VR. That's basically what it's. Classes, vehicles, large scale combat, rush, conquest, 32 players, 16v16, cool classes, all that kind of jazz. Battlefield in VR. That's what it is. So I'm watching it. I see it. It opens up, and I'm like, damn. So, all right, cool. They made a Battlefield game in VR. This might be something to look into, something to get hype about, right? And so I'm watching it until we get to the end, and then they showcase the platforms the game will be available on when it launches. And I'm looking over it, and I see no PlayStation VR 2. Hell, I see Pico on the damn thing. I don't see the VR 2. And I said, oh, okay, cool. There goes that hype. Cool. So I do some research. So I went onto the website, read their little blog about the upcoming game Forefront, right? And they say in there two major things that they said. One, that they, quote unquote, did not want to leave behind the Quest 2 player base. Mark note of that. And two, they had a lot of trouble when they ported over Breachers onto the VR2, and so they've been considering or thinking about making a port for the VR2, but it's not on the table yet. Cool. Let's address both those issues right now. Now, I don't write scripts. All right? I'm just going to talk off the cuff. So, if I ramble a little bit, my apologies. Quest 2. Meta itself has freaking discontinued the Quest 2, right? We're all on the same page with that. Quest 2 is some old hardware. Old. It was outdated when it came out. It's old. It's some old technology there in the Quest 2s, right? And so it's disappointing to see that this new flagship VR multiplayer title is hitting the stage, but is being designed for the Quest 2. And they can say that it's not a Quest 2 game, they're not designing it for the Quest 2, but it is. It's the albatross around the neck. If that's what they're going with, that's the lowest common denominator in the situation, is the Quest 2, that's what they have to design it for. They have to design it with the Quest 2 in mind, and then upgrade it where they can for the other platforms. So it's a Quest 2 game. What a huge disappointment that is. And I call it a disappointment mainly because games like this don't come along often. What I mean by that is games that transcend our VR collective, that can grab the attention of the mainstream. This game has got to get a ton of hype. I guarantee you that. It's already building up, but it's going to get a ton of hype as the months go by. And you're going to see people who aren't even into VR talking about this game, right? So the hype's going to build, and then these people are going to go play this brand new Battlefield in VR game, and what are they going to get? An outdated Quest 2 game. The thing that showcases how far VR has come, or how incredible VR can be, but something that's literally playing on hardware from 10 years ago. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Now, I'm saying this as a consumer, right? They're the ones making the game. They're the ones spending the money and the manpower and the hours to build the game. So they probably looked at the numbers and said, yeah, there's lots of people on Quest. If we make it for the Quest 2, we'll have a large player base that can purchase the game. And happy, healthy ecosystem and all that kind of jazz. I hear you. Cool, I hear you. But to me, that seems short-sighted. I'm going to say this, and you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but if you're a VR enthusiast and you're still playing exclusively on the Quest 2, then are you really an enthusiast? I'm gonna have to ask a question. Are you really an enthusiast then? Because we need to move on. We need to push boundaries here, man. And the Quest 2 ain't it. It ain't it for that. Even Quest exclusives are moving away from the Quest 2, like Batman and whatnot. Like, I don't know. It seems like a bad idea to me. If you want this game to last for years, if you want this game to be this VR title is going to stand the test of time for the next couple of years, why limit it? Why bound it to a technology that's already outdated, that's far outdated, and already being discontinued by Meta? I don't understand. Yeah, the numbers are there, sure, yeah, but I'm going to say this. Like I said, if you're still playing exclusively on the Quest 2, are you really the VR enthusiast you claim to be? Probably not. I don't know. Unless you're just, it's just hard times, which I understand. But I guarantee you, if they had come out with this game and said, yo, we won't get into the VR 2 yet, but had they showcase the game and said, yo, this is a Quest 3 game, so we want to participate because we're pushing the boundaries of gameplay, of physics, of graphics, we're pushing it, and so if you want to participate, you gotta step up to a Quest 3. I guarantee you enough people who are on Quest 2 now would probably just sell their headset and upgrade to the Quest 3. I can almost, because especially if the game is going to be that good, and all the hype is going to receive, people would upgrade just to participate. And there you go. Problem solved. More people would join up. They said in the blog that they're going to have bots in the lobbies when they're underpopulated. Perfect. So you got bots in the lobbies when they're underpopulated. Push the new technology. Demand that people get a Quest 3 or pcvr and push their boundaries. And there we go. Problem solved. Good to go. Why? Why limit it to the Quest 2? I do not understand. I really don't. I'm really perplexed by that one. To take it a step further, there's been a lot of discussion of late regarding the MetaQuest store and how there's a heavy emphasis on free-to-play. And there's a ton of free-to-play games, and there's a lot of free-to-play alternatives to paid premium games that are on the store. And because how convoluted the store is and that free-to-play dominates the market on Quest. Maybe it's a fault because it's a bunch of Quest kids and they can't afford to buy a bunch of games, so they lean to free-to-play. Cool, because it's not cool. So you release this game hoping that these Quest 2 kids are going to jump on board, but it's already been shown these last few months that, you know what I mean, sales on the Quest, sales on the Meta are down considerably than what they used to be. And so you're hoping this player base will carry the game. There's a fair chance they might not. Which brings me now to the PlayStation VR 2. They had said in the blog, they had inferred that to bring over breachers was a troublesome affair. It was troublesome. It was difficult. Cool. And I've heard it before from other developers that I guess the Q&A process for Sony to get your game proved and put on their storefront is a bit rigorous. It's almost a bit demanding how much they require of you. For, I guess, from accessibility functions and features to make sure there's no bugs to all that kind of stuff. I guess all that stuff kind of, from my understanding, it kind of kicked off with Cyberpunk. When Cyberpunk had that whole debacle and made Sony look so bad, they kind of like really locked down their QA process. But I could be wrong. I could just be inferring too much. But anyways. But I have heard it from other developers that to get a game on the Sony storefront is far more difficult than other places, than like the Meta. From a developer standpoint, that might sound, like That might sound like a bad idea, like a bad deal. Like, damn, it's so hard. Me as a consumer, however, I hear that and I say, cool. Yeah, man, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. There's a reason why the PlayStation storefront isn't just swimming to the gills in like shovelware, because of that whole QA process. I'd gladly take 250 decent, reputable, tested, proper games over 1,000 shovelware games that I have to sift through like wheat to find the good ones, which is a problem with the storefront on Meta. So that too doesn't sit well with me. Is Triangle Factory scared of releasing the game on PlayStation because it's going to be buggy? It's not going to be quite optimized yet when it does release, and so it's going to need an extra time or more time, or maybe too much time to put it on PlayStation because they know already that it won't be, fully optimized when it comes out for the Meta, and so they won't even bother with the PlayStation Store? I don't know. I'm inferring. I don't know these things. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But once again, that goes back to the issue I had before about hype. Because I tell you how these VR, I'm going to deal with the VR. The VR community loves to hype up games, and then they shit on them when they come out. That's just something I've seen in VR for years. A game gets hyped. It's this in VR. It's Battlefield in VR. It's Call of Duty in VR. Pick any game. It's this in VR. It's gonna be so great. And then it comes out, and first thing here is, yeah, it's full of VR jank, and if you can get past the jank, it's okay, and the graphics are it's okay. It's not quite what it lived up to be, and they love that's the habit of the VR community. They love to hype a game up and then shit in it when it comes out. This game is gonna be hyped to the heavens. But if they're too scared to put it on the PlayStation storefront because of the extra work it's going to take to clean up the bugs and get it polished, then that hype is going to fade real quick when the game comes out and it's buggy and it's a mess and nothing's working and da-da-da-da-da. And then there you go. And then all these grand people that are hoping to join up from the Quest store probably won't join up because the game is buggy as all hell. And then we have another potential. It has so much potential. It just didn't quite live up to it. It's a shame. What a shame kind of thing. And so I'm beginning to ramble, so let me get to the point. It's a damn shame. This game should be pushing the boundaries of VR. It should be on the VR2. It should be on pcvr. Maybe Quest 3. I won't say it shouldn't be on Quest 3, but it shouldn't be held back by the Quest 2 of all things. I don't know. It's something I've seen as a VR2 gamer that it's like we get the short end of the stick. I'm not sure why. Because the analytics come out, the numbers come out, and they say that when they release a game on the VR2, it sells better than on Quest, even though we have the smaller player base. We spend money on our games. VR2 gamers actually back up their talk with money and with playtime. They don't just hype up games and look for free-to-play games. We actually pay money for our games and support developers and support the community. And yet, constantly, we get told, yeah, we're release a Quest version first, and then we'll look about the VR2 version later. And it's like, okay, cool. It's like, cool. It's like, I hear you. There's more people, quote-unquote, on Quest, even though they don't buy games on Quest. But cool. And so, I don't know. Any hype I had for this game is kind of diminished. It really has. Almost to the point where if they announce that, yeah, okay, we'll release a VR2 version, I don't know, 8 months after the game comes out, after it comes out on Quest, then you can buy it on VR2. I probably won't even, I don't even know right now, man. Because like I said, how it goes with VR, it's going to be tons of hype, it's going to come out, it's probably going to be a buggy mess on Quest. It's basically almost like an early access version. Comes out on Quest. Everyone shits on the game. The numbers dry up. The server numbers dry up. No one plays the game. And then it comes out on the VR2 8 months later. And we get basically a half-day game that we get to join in and participate in and pay top dollar for. I don't know. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with this reoccurring scenario. I really am. Whose fault is it? I don't know. I don't think it's a Sony thing. in this instance, I won't say it's a Sony fault because they made the decision not to put it on PlayStation. They made that decision. Cool. That's a Sony thing, only in the sense of I wish Sony would put out their own like high-class, large-scale VR multiplayer game. I wish they would. I really do. They could have had something nice with Firewall if they had just like listened to the feedback and really put the time in to get that shit cracking and fixed. Maybe do what they did with Helldivers, put it on pcvr and VR2 and have it be crossplay. Just make sure there's lobbies and full. I mean, if I wish Sony would do something like that, so we don't have to depend on, I don't know, third-party developers to give us these games that we want to play. But it is what it is. Not pleased by the whole situation. I really am not. I'll follow the game. I'll check it out. But ain't no way I'd ever consider buying a Quest to play this game here. To play a Quest 2 game. Never in my life would I do that. That would feel like a step back. I mean, so that ain't gonna happen. So yeah, I don't know what to say. It is what it is. You know, we need a good VR console war. That's what we need. We need to draw some lines in the sand. And need Sony to make a whole bunch of exclusive games, and Meta can make their exclusive games, and pcvr and Valve can do some things, and you know what I mean. We need some exclusives. We need a console war to kick off, promote some innovation, promote some competing franchises. That's what we need right now. So if you got this far, thanks for listening to the ramble. I have more thoughts on the whole showcase. I'll probably do that in another video, but I just wanted to address this whole thing with Forefront. Yeah, I'm not really pleased. I have to admit, any hype I had for that is really kind of diminished. So we'll see how it goes. As more information comes out, I'll share my thoughts on it. But let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, if I'm just full of crap. You can let me know. Thanks for watching, and you take it easy.